is where he's been, but not further. Well, he might have been in training, he might have been in a domestic competition, but not in a competition which is authorised. So, Roman Metriakov, the world silver medalist of 2001, 24 years of age.
Yes, clearly not 100% after that elbow injury that he sustained in European Championships. Was 15 kilos down on his best snatch, only managing with 192.5.
Yes, and he's capable of 245 on a clean and jerk, so very nice and easy clean. That was... Yes, I mean, he's coming again, David, at a very, very conservative weight, which he can handle. And maybe this is the right way for him, you know, a steady build-up.
Well, it's certainly the right way forward if you've had an injury. You know, come in, get some lifts in, build your confidence back.
And being the Russian Superheavy has always been a prestigious position. I mean, ever since in the days of the Soviet Union, the great Alexeyev, who really, I guess, in our time, David, was the man who put super heavyweight lifting, you know, on the map. I mean, he was the worldwide star. Everybody knew Alexeyev, you know, from right across Europe and across in the United States. Everybody loved the man. Great personality, great lifter. And, you know, we always look for somebody like that to, you know, come out and dominate and be extremely strong. But here's Dragomir with his man Shane Haman for the United States, opening clean and jerk.
Yes, he was down to start on 225, but opting for...
Coming up. Right.
Very strong man.
Well, he played with that. And again, you know, he's this sort of stocky build. He's really designed for the clean and jerk, isn't he?
Yes, and coming in at 227.5. So obviously the warm-up went well.
So we're expecting a new personal best from him as well. 197.5. He's improved his snatch PB by 2.5 kilos, the American. And now Gregor Kletch. Of course, the Poles with 2 in the competition. This man and Pavel Nidek. Nidek, the man who failed to get a snatch in the first half.
So 230 kilos, 507 pounds.
Mocno w pionie.
Well, I'm glad he's stronger overhead than he was with the clean, because the clean didn't look that convincing, but he's got a score on the board. He's got a total of 4-2-0, and Kletch with 230 is now just 5 kilos below his personal mark in the clean and jerk. That's the same mark that he achieved in the European Championships when he totaled up 410, so he's doing better now. But you would expect that, David, 6 months on, down towards the end of the season. The bronze medalist from the first. And this is important because of his light body weight. Remember, he's lighter than both Damianov and Razazadeh. He's lighter, of course, than Shane Haman. Everybody is.
Yeah, so this would put him on 430. Remember, he had a 440 posted, so fairly realistic total.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, he's got this one. It's the next one, which is going to be the big question. Just feeling that 430, but 3 white lights.
Yes, and for the moment that takes him into first place, but he's limping off, so...
Yeah, but he's going to have a few minutes, David, to sort himself out. There's quite a few lifters to take part and get involved, so he's going to have more than a couple of minutes to work on this. But the next lift will be the test, but that's what this is all about. If you're not prepared to push yourself, then all those hours and days and weeks and months in the gym will count for nothing. So here comes a 10-kilo increase for the youngster Karasyov, and this will put him straight on his personal best mark.
Well, this is what we thought he'd do. We thought he'd gone down, get a lift in, make a total, and then you know, he's not going to get a medal. So the goal's got to be personal bests, which is exactly what he's doing.
Quite a fussy preparation. Has a little look at the clock.
Stop! Сильно!
Too close to the windpipe. Yeah, and he's held on. Yeah, they've got him. Well done to the loaders. Very quick. The boys on there to look after him. Just that little bit too close.
That's right, it was a hard, clean, that heavy bar across the shoulders, pushing on the windpipe there and just cutting some of the oxygen supply off. You can see how close it is to the windpipe.
Yeah, he did well to hold it there for as long as he... for 1 second I thought he was actually going to get the chuck in and go for it. But he's got one more chance.
It's good to see the loaders in there quickly. As I mentioned earlier, they are weightlifters, so they've probably had this happen to themselves in the gym.
Well, I think the other point about it is, David, that you might have noticed there that there's a 1 meter gap between the stage and the back wall, and the reality is that this is a sort of new arrangement that's been done, which allows you to light the back wall. But what it does mean is that there's a trench to fall down. So the loaders have been alerted now by the organisation that if they see a man or a woman in trouble, they have to get in there quickly. Normally they stay off the platform, but in this case now they're given permission to go in and save the day. So that's very necessary, because in that you could really hurt yourself. So Dragomir really working on Shane. Come on. Little twit. That's somebody sent in an email about that, about Dragomir pulling of the ears. Anybody ever pull your ears, David? No, I don't think so.
Well, not in this particular situation.
Let's do it, Shane Hammond. Come on now.
And one of the good things I think, David, that's happening in women's weightlifting is that the sort of physical side of, you know, slapping the women around, I think the coaches have got the message now, and I'm glad to see that it doesn't happen, because it wasn't a very nice thing.
I think the women are getting too strong for that now, David.
Yes. But is Shane Hammond strong enough for this? And it's fascinating. Dragomir is living this lift with his man.
Coming up!
Good clean.
Bags of power.
But you've got to finish it off.
Yes, it's interesting watching Dragomir. When the camera focuses in, you really can see him living it, and you know, all the nerves and all the pressure it's all coming back.
Well, you know what it's like, David. You travel sometimes a very long distance, and you have a plan, you have an ambition, and you're not desperate, but you do really desire, you want to bring it off. And you know, if it is a long journey home, well, achieving what you set out to do makes that journey so much more pleasant. Otherwise, the miles, the hours on the aeroplane just seem endless.
Yes, and also these athletes will have been training for at least, or training hard for at least 4 months up to these. And it's always nice to have the realisation of your effort.
You know how to do it.
You know how to do it. You can probably hear that in the background.
But of course, that's Dragomir
yes.
talking to Shane Hammond. Well, that's how to do it. Well, or maybe not. Did he hold it for long enough?
Hold your head, because you didn't.
All the work. Interesting that we can hear what the coaches are saying in the background. I hope you know how to do it. Is as colourful as it gets.
No, I think it's you know how to do it. You know, which he does. And the same remark could be applied to Gregor Kletch. How many times have you been taught to finish off? That's a silly error.
Yes, a big mistake. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, and you know, you were talking about the 4 months training, David. You know, we're not talking about, you know, half an hour down the gym, are we? I mean, we're talking about 6 days a week.
6 days a week and up to 6 hours a day.
Weights,
snatch, clean and jerk, squats in the morning, snatch, clean and jerk, squats in the evenings. All limit weights for these guys. I mean, it's tough. Well, that surprises me actually, because he looks so powerful in that phase of the lift, and I would have thought that was perhaps more of a self-belief thing than anything else.
Well, he's ended up on 425, which is equal to his personal best. But I think that's ended up as being a disappointing afternoon, David. I think he's capable of, you know, going. He set himself a target of 430, and I'm disappointed he didn't get that. Mind you, the World Championships next year, which are the qualifying competitions for the Olympic Games in Athens in 2004. Well, those are in Vancouver next November, and of course Shane will be not quite at home, but you know, as close as he's going to get, and maybe that'll help him. Now,
Zdecydowanie, Grzesiek.
now that may well have been Polish for you know how to do it.
Now hold it there, finish it off, wait for the down signal. And it's a shame he didn't do that the first time.
Yeah, because that's it. 425, same end total as Shane Hammond. He gets the higher placing, of course, because he's lighter than the American. But everybody is. Kletch, 121.4 kilos, has achieved the same total as Shane Hammond, who weighed in at 169.3. So 372 pounds, that is enormous. I suppose with these big guys, David, there's a sort of assumption that they can eat what they like, but they don't, do they? They have a dietary program as well.
Well, I think some of them, to be honest, most of them do eat what they like. They need to eat a lot to sustain that kind of body weight, increase that kind of body weight, and do all that training.
So what's a light snack and what's a big dinner? This is the Armenian coming in for his opening clean and jerk.
Yes, he was posted at 2:4, on down to 2:35. Remember, bombed out on the snatch. So perhaps deciding to come in on a more sensible and realistic weight.
And he doesn't make a mistake there. He does hold that bar above his head to make sure that he finishes off. But he's red lighted 2-1, David, against. So
I need to watch that one again.
Well, it's the two outside referees. So let's have a look at these elbows.
Well, I thought that was fine. See, now this is my point again about the press out. I thought that was fine. There are other lifts that I thought have been press outs, and they've been good lifts. So there's no real consistency in the refereeing.
Well, that was very difficult to spot. Well, it seems to me that from where would a bit hard done by. Now Nidek.
Yes, Nidek fouled with all 3 snatches, if you remember, earlier on in the competition. But of course, there are medals for the individual lifts, and yes, and the coach saying, well, you know, what was that all about? And I have to say that if I was coaching him, I'd be asking the question, what was that all about? And I'd be calling in the official there, Jeff Laws of England, an ex-Commonwealth Games gold medalist, won back in '92. So yes, going back to this man, fouled with all 3 snatches, but of course in weightlifting there are medals for the clean and jerk, so and he is much stronger in that lift, so the motivation to carry on and get a medal still very, very high, especially in front of a home crowd. And there is a conversation going on now with the jury, and I think what happens is you've got a panel of 5 people that watch and see that the refereeing has been done correctly, and if it isn't, they call up the referees and they ask them why a decision has been made.
Yeah, but the big difference is that these days they can overrule. Now the real question is whether they give them another lift. Now, what can they do? Do they give them another lift, or do they correct the wrong? If they consider it to be wrong. But the other thing is, it has to be a unanimous decision of all 5. That is the rule. It can't be 4-1. And some people think it should be possible to make it 4-1.
Well, in my opinion, they correct the wrong. But the bar now is going up anyway, regardless, to 240 kilos. So there's just 10 kilos of this man's personal best.
Yeah, he got the silver medal last year in the World Championships in the clean and jerk. Was only snatch, so as you say, David, that's his weaker discipline. The result was that he just missed out on the overall medals. But he is very strong overhead.
Yes, looks much more comfortable with the clean and jerk.
And Pavel Nidek, 131.90. That's lighter than the Bulgarian Damianov. Of course, it's lighter than Hossein Razazadeh, the Olympic champion. It's also lighter, David, than Artem Udashin of the Ukraine, who's got the bronze medal in the snatch division. So 131.90 for Nidek, if he can keep lifting well now, could just possibly get him something of a consolation prize. And it would be nice for the host nation and the organisers to finish with a man on the podium. But I doubt it won't be the overall podium. So here comes the man who's in silver medal position at the halfway stage. Damianov, or as we've now nicknamed him, Dangerous Damianov. But how dangerous? Remember, he was feeding that right elbow, which is the reason why he didn't take the 3rd snatch. But you're reasonably confident, David, because this doesn't put the same sort of stress as a snatch.
That's right. There's a good chance that he will be able to carry on into the in the clean and jerk. Things very easily. Chucks the hands out. Well, he's got a total 4:45 and moves straight into first place.
I'll tell you what, are you convinced he's just 23 years of age?
I think maybe they dug him out of the ice 23 years ago. I don't know about him being 23 years of age.
I mean, a lot of people say, you know, sort of, well, what are these weightlifters like? And, you know, some people were saying, we don't actually know him that well. But, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, Agatha Robles Silva seems pretty serious. But, you know, we know that she's got a fantastic personality, really nice and friendly. And the chances are that, you know, this is a great bloke to have a beer with. As long as you're buying and he's drinking. Now, this is Udashim, the Ukrainian.
So this will give him the 440 that he suggested he was capable of. Needs to get underneath. Oh, and does really well to hold on to that. Drove it out, made a technical mistake, pushed the bar forward, and was quick enough to take a few steps forward, get his body weight back under, and hold. But he seems to be having some, limped off the stage there, so he seems to be having some problems. But
well, this was terrific. I mean, it'd be good if we could just see the lower part of his body here, because he did it. That's now watch here. Out, corrected, strong, as you said, David. Very good recovery.
So he now has 440.
And the size of these men, sometimes, David, belies just how balletic and long can be on their feet.
Well, the decision by the jury was not reversed. So even regardless of that, he's decided that he's going to go up to 242.5, and to be quite honest with you, he might as well. It's not
a totally good decision. I mean, I still think, even though he failed, it was the right thing to do, because he, in his mind and his coach's mind, they completed the lift. So, yes, it's a failure on the card, but not to them. They were convinced they'd done it properly. So there's every logic to go after a prize.
Plus, I don't think, and plus 237.5 is not a medal, so
go for a prize.
Waste of time.
But after 2 years absence on the main international stage, he's not quite as sharp, and he's certainly not as strong as he was when he was collecting European titles in '99 and 2000. We're just a couple of kilometers from the center of Warsaw, which is quite a cosmopolitan city, and it's been interesting throughout the week here how the different fans from the different nations who are in Warsaw have come down to support. Here you can see support for Hossein Rezazadeh, the Olympic champion, the Iranian, who at the moment, David, looks in pretty good shape. Bit of salts there, just a bit of ammonia to wake him up.
Yes, well, unfortunately, he's got to follow himself. Nobody else wants to come out on 242.5.
242.5, well, it's 20 kilos off that world standard set by the International Weightlifting Federation back on the 1st of January 1998, and so far nobody has achieved it in an authorized competition. and it has not been a good day. It started poorly and it's finished, I have to say, very disappointingly for the Armenian.
Yeah, so he fails to make a total.
Well, he didn't make a total in the World Championships in 1999. So things not going his way, but will they go this man's way? Andrei Chemerkin, a major in the Russian police. Got 3 kids, Andrei, 2 sons and a daughter. And his dad is a qualified masseur, so he looks after him.
I bet his kids go to bed when they're told.
He's got a couple of brothers, Dmitry. Oh, I should say he's got a brother and sister, Dmitry and sister Vera. Ooh. Now that's the second time he and the bar have not got on.
Yes, he's really not the lifter that he used to be.
Well, back in 1997, David, when he won the second of his titles, he was actually Athlete of the Year, which is quite an honour to be Athlete of the Year in Russia. So, does an opportunity knock here for Pavel Nidek, maybe?
I'd say yes. He's done 250. He's light.
Gets the talk on. Starts to talk himself into what he hopes will be medal-winning mood. Locks on.
Zdecydowanie, Paweł.
Better than the first.
Well, there was going to be a press out there, surely, anyway, David.
Yes, shame, because the clean was really good. Everything was right.
That was excellent, as you said. I mean, he wasted no energy. It'll be the Bulgarian. Here he is, Damianov, 245. Still, of course, to start, Razazadeh.
Yes, he's posted 252.5.
The arms out a little bit wider to make the chuck a little bit easier, and I think he'll get that.
I'm not so sure. I think he's
2 to 1
out slightly.
2 to 1.
He's doing the right thing. He's got his arms up in the air as if to say, well, you're one. But it just, again, it underlines there was a slight press out there, and we'll see it again on the slow-mo. And he was given it, but Ashot was not. Although not quite as easy to see from the side.
No, you need that front angle to be sure to give you a best chance, but he knows how to play the audience. And of course, every one of those 5 men of the jury, not to mention the 3 referees, can rightfully be a bit petrified of this man glaring down at them. You dare give me a red. Now this would be a useful weight, David, with this boy's lightweight.
So, stays on the 440, as they've told us about.
They're all running into problems now, David. They're getting very close to their personal bests. And he's got a total of 440, which is the total that he announced. It represents a 5 kilo improvement on his personal best. That was good enough last year, David, for 4th in the World Championships. 435. What will 440 bring him today? Well, Nidek is not a threat to him in terms of overall medals, but Nidek must now surely really take this opportunity. Fan of the absent Ronnie Vella.
Zdecydowanie. Nic z tego.
Huge weight.
I teraz pionie, Paweł.
And the weight definitely getting to him now, David.
Yes, it's just not there today.
He's given it his best shot, a medal not to be. What we could do with Chemerkin coming in and getting his next lift and a big...
Well, if Chemerkin doesn't get a lift at 245, then the pole, because he's lighter, could still actually get a clean and jerk, but it's a big if. Just the Russian who isn't in his best form. Snatched 192.5, was 15 kilos down, came in at 225. We haven't seen him since then, so I'm not sure if he's actually pulled out. But this man's still in the competition, even though he hasn't managed to succeed with a clean and jerk yet.
So Andrei Chemerkin.
I have to say, David, he didn't look impressive on that first attempt. It was a million miles away.
Oh, he's used enormous power to get that on his shoulders.
Well,
that is a press out. There's
no question.
There is no way.
And he knows it. He knows it.
And they know it as well. You could just see how much he struggled to get that on his shoulders. Look at that, David. He's really using up so much energy, so much power. And remember, this is a man who is and has proved himself capable of lifting enormous weights. 262.5, which he lifted in Chiang Mai in 1997. And actually, just reflecting on that, David, I mean, that was the year before the new weight categories were announced. And I've always found it a bit bizarre that, you know, in the super heavyweights, that record is the one record which could have stood, because what on earth was the difference? Because, you know, it went down to 105 kilos. And you know, I think that's pretty hard on Chemerkin not to have that 262.5 recognised.
So, 247.5 kilos on the bar. This man, Chemerkin.
And of course, he's not going to total if he doesn't get this.
He has to do this to make a total. And he has to do it in the correct manner.
You know, last year, the bronze medal, he did 200 in the snatch, 242.5 for a total of 442.5. So, it's not exactly an improvement, is it? And that was the bronze medal. Bronze in the Worlds, bronze in the 2000 Olympics. It's good to see him in the fight because, you know, he's only 30, but he ever come back to dominate in the way that he did in the mid-90s.
Well, there's your answer.
The answer is, David, that it's most unlikely, isn't it? Russia really need to find their new super heavyweight. I mean, it could be in time, Macharyakov, but you get the feeling that...
Well, it looks as if their younger super heavyweight isn't going on in the clean.
No, I meant generally for the future. I mean, I think you're absolutely right, because here comes Razazadeh, and so Macharyakov, who actually withdrew from the European Championships, if you remember, and didn't get a total, and Nidek, this means, by your calculated, he's got the bronze.
It looks like he's got the bronze on body weight.
On the clean and jerk.
On the clean and jerk, just by...
being lighter than Udashem.
Lighter weight, 0.8 of a kilo lighter, so...
Doesn't matter if it's 0.1 of a kilo.
So at least the Poles will get something on the last day.
Yeah, that'll be a welcome surprise, I think, and a fair consolation to Nidek that he's got a medal on his own home platform. But now the Olympic champion, Jose Razazadeh.
Yes, I think the Bulgarian has called it a day, knowing that he can't really beat this man. Well, the great thing about this lift, David, is that he's obviously world champion, can do anything about it. So 2 lifts left. Now, world standard, 262.5.
World total, 472.5, his own.
So he's now kind of, if you like, the pressure of winning the championship is off.
Oh, let's go for something.
He's got all 3 gold medals. Why not?
Be a nice way to end the week, end the championships.
Great way to end on a world record.
We started on one. We started on several, if you remember, in the Women's World Championships, which got us underway in the 48 kilo class with Wang setting all those new marks, snatch, clean and jerk and total. So the lightest to the heaviest, but can he do it with 2 lifts?
In fact, is the world standard 260 or is it
262.5? He's got to go 10 kilos.
So he's got to go to 263.
Yes.
Because obviously you can't, the world standard, you have to actually beat it to be able to put your...
But also if he does that, he puts an extra kilo on the total as well, so he deals with that at the same time. And he did look immensely comfortable.
Yes, but of course it doesn't count on the total, unfortunately. And this is another thing that we've spoke about on 1 or 2 occasions.
The fact of it should be what you get is what you get.
Well, they're misloading that. That's going to be 258. They need to put a 2.5 on the bar as well, which they're now doing. Black, no, they've still misloaded. They need to add a 1.25. Well, that's by my calculations, Dave, that's the wrong way. Right, a 1.25, which makes it 162.5. Then the record disc, and then the collar. So, absolutely right, 263.
But he's not going to do it in two parts, which is absolutely right. The Bulgarian, no further part in the competition. He's realised his limitations. And so now this for the icing on the cake. This is Iran's first title of the championships. The Olympic champion is the world champion. Now, can he improve the world record mark?
I'm quite convinced that he can clean it. It's just that second phase that worries me. But yes, you're quite right. It'd be a great way to end what's been a pretty good championship.
Yes, and the Iranian fans are in the hall. You've seen them, and now they're getting behind their man. And this is very good, David, because the Iranians have had a pretty miserable time up till now. This is the first man who's really looked us, you know, in world-class condition. And the Asian Games, he had a really soft ride there, and maybe that was just the perfect build-up. You know, he only had to total 440 there, 200, 240, 440 to win the Asian Games title, and he was a street ahead of everybody else. But this is a superb way, if he can do it. And if he can do it, I think he'll just take this one. He won't bother with the third one.
Well, you never know. Maybe he'll want the total as well. I think it just depends on what happens here.
Well, we're praying with him as well. Immensely strong man. Arguably the strongest man in the world.
Oh, look at how easy that.
Clean and jerk, world standard has been established. 263 kilos. He surpasses that 1997 mark of Andrei Chemerkin, which is unofficial. But now Hossein Rezazadeh of Iran is the world's clean and jerk champion. The perfect finish, the icing on the cake. And isn't that just great, David?
Fantastic. Well, I read some articles. His coach had said that he felt that this would be the first man to break the 600-pound mark, which is 272.5 kilos, and the way he cleaned that weight. Do you doubt it?
No, and he's not going to take. I mean, he's got another lift if he wants it, but I can't see it. I mean, very difficult actually, because there's so much emotion there, there's so much adrenaline. Look at this. The clean was wonderful.
Yes, it looked almost like an empty bar. To work a bit harder on the jerk, but not that much harder. So, is that it? Or are we going for the total world record? This is the question.
I mean, he could come out and he probably would get it, but I don't know, emotionally at the moment, everybody's on a high, David. There's a huge buzz around the hall. The man has, you know, he's won it in style. He's world class. He's ahead of everybody else. He's demolished the rest of the field. The mean machine from Bulgaria, Dangerous Damian, no match for Hossein Rezazadeh. And I tell you what, a fit Ronnie Weller would have found this man a handful. There isn't anybody to touch him at the moment. And is he the strongest man in the world? Well, you wouldn't argue, would you? Great finale. Excellent. Well, we've had some really good lifting this week. But that's an excellent finish, one we hope for. It doesn't always happen, but it has today. You know, and that mark that he's just set there, David, I mean, that's been waiting since 1998. You know, records don't hang about generally that long. So it's a very special achievement.